We got at least one, so we're good to go? Okay. We're started. All right, everybody have a chance to review the minutes from last month?
Yes.
Okay. You weren't there? Want a chance to read them? Okay, you good? All right. Need a motion to, okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so now for the deed follow-up.
So I was able to communicate with Josh. We will have the final draft of the deed available, and I have put together the purchase agreement. I need to speak with the buyer for two things. One, I need to make sure that they're comfortable with the language. The most important language in there, it's a pretty stock agreement except for paragraph 11. That's the important one I'm gonna call everyone's attention to. And that's the paragraph that requires actual development. The final draft of the purchase agreement will have the entity that's purchasing it. I believe that the buyer is gonna have one of the corporate entities do it. So it will need to reflect that. But as long as you're comfortable with the purchase agreement, then we can approve this pending approval from the buyer. And if there are any significant revisions, then I think it would need to come back up for a vote. If it's just tweaking the language of the corporate entity that's doing the purchasing, I don't think that's gonna require a vote. The president can then execute on behalf of the RDC.
Okay. Everybody have a chance to read it?
I'm almost done reading this last one.
Comments,
And then-
feedback, discussion?
One of the other things I commented to the purchaser was, that would allow some time for a release of some sort to come from the RDC, the buyer, or a joint release from both entities. Because I know that you're gonna wanna post something on this when it's done, so that the public knows you did
Yep.
something. And I assume the buyer will be interested in either doing a joint or his own release as well.
Great.
So, let's say that something catastrophic happens and it's gonna take 6 months longer, a year longer, it's gonna take 48 months, they can just come in and redo this.
You can grant an extension, it's optional for you, you're not required to do the rescission, it doesn't happen automatically.
Okay.
And the most significant change I anticipate is they may want some kind of interest in the event that there's rescission, for the money that would be refunded if the RDC elected to rescind for whatever reason. I don't think that's going to be a risk here, but the real purpose of putting that language in there is for future projects that anticipate development, like when you put in infrastructure for bare ground, anticipating that buildings will be built. You want the ability to rescind that so that you don't run into a problem like the town's run into east of town.
So we'll be able to finalize all this at our next meeting.
You'll be able to finalize, you can as a board, finalize it tonight, and the president can announce that everything has been signed, release can be done, or you can do it at the next meeting, it's your preference.
I don't have a problem just, getting it done through Mike.
I'm in agreement. Whatever moves us forward. So if we can pass it tonight and then just get.
You've got the purchase agreement. If there are significant changes from the buyer, I'll notify you so we can put it on the agenda. If they're de minimis changes, I don't think that's going to require, you have some degree of discretion in the board's given you and me. I was specifically instructed in the June meeting to negotiate this.
Mhm.
So as long as de minimis changes, I feel comfortable. If it's significant, purchase price changed by a significant amount, or they want to go from 36 to 60 months, I think I would bring that back. But otherwise, if it's just small things that, again, I need the name of the entity. That is not in the purchase agreement because I don't know which corporate entity this is gonna be put into. And so once I have that corporate entity, I'll put it in there, and then you and the buyer can sign it, and I anticipate people very quickly at that point.
So then we would need a motion stating that we.
Approve sale based on the purchase agreement, and the deed that's been prepared will have the correct legal description. And part of this, Josh will approve it before we send it to the buyer for their signature, so that we don't accidentally convey his lot.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
So it's.
We don't have the authority to convey it anyway.
Someone like to make that motion?
I give a motion.
I just want, Did you catch everything? Okay. Need a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
And Julie can always ask for something to be restated if she decides to
Okay.
move too quickly.
You just said a lot of things there, I was just watching her hand, I'm like, yeah. Oh, that's true, you can rewatch that, I forgot we're doing that now. Well, that then handles the negotiation part of it as well. You know, it's funny, I see the proposal from Baker Tilly here, but I haven't seen it in my email, and I hope that it hasn't gotten buried again or lost again. So I'll have to check my email to see, I would think they would have gotten that back to me by now, so.
What proposal is that?
They're going to handle all the reports for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then turns out that something went wrong with my email, and she'd been emailing me and I wasn't seeing it, so I asked her to resend it, and oddly enough, I'm not seeing things again, so.
Well, I was unaware of it when I named my company Midwest Land Surveying. That's pretty generic. There's two other Midwest Land Surveyors. There's a guy out west and a guy in southern Indianapolis, and we get each other's emails. So that's very odd. He goes, I've gotten like 5 bids from you guys. He calls me up every time. But yeah.
Okay, next line, outstanding facade grants. I don't believe, I have questions though, and if Adam's there, I hate to take him out of his stuff, but, I know the answer to this, but I wanna make sure that I'm correct in this. This week, I had communication, I'm gonna direct this to you. I had communication from Dave Rose that he has not received his check. So I said, okay, well, let me check on it. So I sent an email out to Adam and Lisa. Lisa's response was, Adam is out of office, so I'll have to follow up with him later. And I went, why? I didn't ask her why. I decided I'm gonna come in face to face. But correct me if I'm wrong, we've approved it, we submitted it, so she should have the ability just to write the check, correct?
Our manager has no role in
Okay.
the issuance of your checks.
Yeah, so I need to figure out how to communicate that to her.
Yes,
So,
I can assist you with that.
okay, I wanna make sure, yeah, I would like to put something together so that she understands, cause it sounds like for the foreseeable future until the next election, that we'll be dealing with her exclusively, this is my understanding, unless Rita comes back, so,
That seems likely.
Yeah.
Based on what I've heard as well.
yeah. So I just wanna make sure, because it's, you know,
She might just know the process.
yeah, I'm thinking that's what it is, which is why I didn't send another email. I thought, I'll just wait till our meeting, I'll clarify, and then I'll figure out how to communicate something in writing.
What I'll do is I'll draft a letter for you that
Mhm.
includes some citation to authority. That
Okay.
way, it becomes something so that if this problem arises again,
Yeah.
under this clerk or a different clerk,
Yep,
it's there, the RDC has a copy, the clerk has a copy, it can be referred to, so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
yep,
Do we know if the car wash got their check?
I don't, actually.
Brad, Gary?
She goes through the
I think so, yeah, yeah. I haven't deleted any emails, so.
One thing I might suggest is that you request the clerk as your fiscal officer, treasurer, whatever title they have, provide you statements
Yes,
on a monthly basis so that you know.
yeah. Yeah, we were talking about creating a mechanism at one point because we didn't know if stuff was getting paid. Okay.
Don't really have much on it. Benson's on there, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is just till 7/11/2025. So,
It may just be delayed like many things are delayed right now.
yeah, well, I mean, as we're going through this, there's not much else we can do. I have personal contact with both of those individuals. I just texted Brad to ask him if he received his check. If he did or didn't, then it doesn't change much, because we'll have to correct this with her so that she understands, because I can't even imagine what she's going through.
You can communicate directly with Lisa without running afoul of open door or anything like that. And if action needs to be taken, then that would be at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Unless you wanna call an emergency session because it's that important.
Nah. I don't know. Does anybody think it's that important? Okay.
Wait till you find the answer before you say.
Yes. Okay, so that takes care of that. I don't know about any other outstanding. I'll get an answer from Brad, but that'll correct that. We're moving forward on this. That's our financial report. Everybody have a chance to look at that? Then I have a line for an admin fee.
I have 2 hours and 45
Oh.
minutes this past week, but I forgot to bring the invoice with me.
Any other business? That fell into the, communication hole, and so I'm trying to reestablish with Heidi, and so I will work on that immediately. So I have not had an answer. Okay. So, I didn't have this added to the agenda because I really only just wanna bring it up just to put a bug in people's ear, especially the board here. I think there's a couple of things that we need to get done before the end of the year, some changes that need to be made, and just some decisions that need to be made as well. And, one of those is, I think we should consider moving our election. I don't know if we're gonna be beholden to the time frame that we have to do it at that point, because we actually have a meeting before the town has their meeting, and then their first meeting of the year is when they do their appointments. So we're voting for whomever the officers are before we actually have their end of it taken care of. So if we made a slight adjustment on that, I think that would make more sense. That's just one. 2, I'd like to communicate to all the current members just to get an idea of who wants to proceed into the next session with this, because if someone doesn't want to, we need to give the council time to work on finding a replacement. So I'd like to put that out there, and I'm gonna communicate this to everyone via email so that they have time to consider that. And then the final thing that I'd like to bring up at a different point, depending on what's on our menu, is setting some guidelines, rules, adjusting bylaws, I don't know, whatever the terminology would be, that going forward, we set some precedents on how people can approach us, timeframes and everything else like that, so that we don't have people coming the night of, basically unannounced, to come and present opportunities for us to invest in whatever it is they're doing. I had every expectation tonight that the fire department was gonna be here based on some loose communication, nothing official, and it was like, I think we need to have, I mean, we can always shelve it, but it would be really nice if we knew ahead of time what they had planned to propose, so that when they came the night of, whomever it is, we had some time to prepare, some time to think about it, that we had time, because I'm not gonna say this is certain, but in general, I think people are expecting an answer the night of. And it's hard for us to decide to allocate, tens of, hundreds of thousands of dollars if we've had about 30 minutes to think about it. So I just wanna work on, and if the group doesn't wanna do it, that's fine, I'm only one voice, but it would be nice if we set a time frame and then made sure we communicated that out. We could also set a limit. We could just say, if anything beyond this limit, because I know there are some projects, so those are the 3 things that going forward, I'd like to get on the.
So, the second of those 3 things does not require official action. That's just asking the members to let you know if they're interested in continuing or not. So it doesn't require any official action at all. That's just asking for everyone to exercise good manners.
Yep.
So you can send a letter out as president indicating that, as a courtesy to the town council, you're saying, it'd be nice if everyone would tell us in advance so we can communicate with them and they can line someone up if they've got someone who wants to be done at the end of their term. The first and the third simply require a vote.
Yep.
You can make a rules change to when you do your election of officers. You could just move the January meeting if you want to keep all of the other, or you could hold a special meeting after. You could have your normal January meeting, a special one after that for appointment of officers. be in a week before the meeting, 2 weeks before the meeting, a month before the meeting if it exceeds $25,000. However you deem prudent, so I recommend that you think about that individually and discuss it at the next meeting.
Okay.
I guess what's the reason why cause every board that I've been to, they just do elections the first meeting of the year. Why do we wanna
Because your
change?
first meeting is before the council officially appoints who's going to be on. So if you appointed someone as president and the council didn't reappoint,
Why would they not reappoint?
What- Yeah, there's any number of
Has that ever
reasons.
been an issue in Avilla?
Mike's anticipating what happens if things happen that have never happened before, which I think is prudent, because we're dealing with a lot of unprecedented things right now in town.
I guess I'm kinda lost, cause I've been staying out of the town business, but what's happening that's, Mike wants to be prudent?
Oh, that's just me.
Yeah, he's just prudent by nature,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you as an attorney, the town has run into a number of things that it hasn't run into before and probably won't run into again.
Yeah, well, and then the part of me, the being prudent, is there's a lot of things that I think for years, the various boards and entities have operated very loosely, and I just wanna get it defined. And then it makes it easier, especially if we bring other people in, cause we will. I mean, at some point, people are gonna move for different reasons, and when we bring someone else in, if we're lucky enough that they come in, you know, like with us, we've been here almost 2 years and are still questioning a lot of how we do things. So, the way I look at it is just put it in writing and then it's not an issue
Yeah,
anymore.
ideally, you'll never have as many replacements coming on all at the same time
Yeah.
again.
I was gonna say, we can never find anybody to do the boards anyway, so.
Yep.
I don't think it's something that's likely to arise, but I don't think it's a bad idea to have something in place. And it, as I said, it can be anything you choose to do because it's a rule.
Yeah.
So how you make that selection, I mean, there's certain constraints under the statute, but
Yeah. It just made sense to me since our meeting falls before their meeting. I was actually sitting there at the beginning of the year going, what if they decided not to renew someone? I mean, I'm assuming they would do the courtesy of letting that person know that they're not reappointing them, but that would be an awfully awkward situation.
yeah, I mean, you could run into a situation where you end up with a whole new board that wants to move in a different direction.
Yeah.
Because that happens frequently in small towns. If you get a pair of councilmen that move out for whatever reason in town, they retire before the end of their term, and you then have the new council members selected by the precinct members.
Yep.
We can do whatever, I don't care, but it's like, we're not a big town. I mean, there's nothing really that couldn't not happen a month later. But, I mean, I don't really care what we do, honestly don't care.
No, I think this is, you're both covering what I think are basically, the full debate about this. And so I don't think this is bad at all. If anyone's watching, it's good for them to see the two of you talk about this.
Yeah.
Get feedback from any of the other members.
Well, let's put it this way, it's not gonna be harmful, so it's not a bad deal.
And if you chose not to act, I also don't think that would likely create harm, but having the discussion, I think, is the important part.
Yep. The final thing that I thought about recently that I wanted to bring up, again, for consideration over the next couple of meetings, which I will be communicating, is I have had some feedback here and there about the time of our meeting. I've had individuals outside of the RDC ask why we do it at 5:30, and I said, well, it's because we chose that. And they said, well, that hinders me from being able to come to meetings, and I've had individuals express that. And then we've had some discussion as a group whether or not 5:30 is a good time, so I'd like to bring that up at some later point. If people wanna move to 6 o'clock, which seems to be the time that most people favor, then, you know, I think we should be able to.
The great, I go to several plan commissions and BZAs in different counties each month. LaGrange is at 6, it's perfect. Noble's like at 7, it's a bummer. 7 o'clock's getting too late.
Yeah.
But 6 is perfect, because if you get off at 5, you got an hour.
So, one of these, it doesn't have to be on the next one. I'm gonna send out an email to everyone so they can think about it, and if we wanna bring it up and put it on there, but I've had enough feedback from other individuals to say maybe we should consider moving it to 6 o'clock so they could be in attendance. I only say that because if a bunch of other things come up, I don't know if you guys notice, I'm a fan of short meetings, so.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, and some of it could be really quick, it just, need to put it out there, give everybody time to marinate, so.
I think as long as you, and again, I'm not talking as a lawyer, I'm just talking as observer, because we've got a couple of members that aren't present, as long as you communicate to them, so they have time to think about it too.
Yeah.
Especially, our school board member, because he's not voting, but still provides a lot of important feedback information,
Yep.
and may have some good discussion to share with everyone.
Maybe. That's all I had. Anybody have anything else? Yeah.
But we are putting back money, so I mean, it's not a bad thing either. If we wanted to tackle something quite large, we could.
That's what I was gonna say, what could we, maybe next agenda, take some time to kind of brainstorm some ideas,
I think,
give it a month, see who's got some ideas for some stuff around town, what we could possibly do, but that also too, be from Baker Tilly, let us know, because we've
Yeah.
talked about a lot of things in the
well,
park.
and something else we're gonna have to get dialed in unless somebody here understands it, and I'm just not getting it, but I think we're also gonna have to be mindful of the changes that the state's made as it pertains to the monies and various other things. We've already been, guided along the, tax abatement schedule, so part of the reason I always talk about the financials is because I feel like I don't have an understanding of what we have, and what's coming in, what's going out, and so I think if we got that more dialed in, then we could.
I also suspect you're going to get guidance from Baker Tilly towards the end of the year when the larger players have had time to figure out the changes in law and how it's going to affect everyone else.
Yeah.
The last time there was a significant overhaul, Baker Tilly, Barnes, Thornburg, some of the other large law firms, they put out some good guidance. When the new reporting requirement came down, one of the law firms put out guidance that was then shared throughout the state, came up with a forum because the state made the rule for reporting but didn't offer any form, any guidance, didn't direct any bureaucratic entity to assist. And so I suspect in the next 3 months, you'll be getting some kind of guidance from Baker Tilly or one of the larger law firms that will also help.
Did I put you in contact yet with Heidi from Baker Tilly? I've gotta get that corrected, cause if I'm gonna have her, whatever you do that is, where you put both emails on there. That way if she sends something and I miss it, then at least someone's getting it.
And that was one of the things when Heidi was here, you talked to her about was what you can do.
Yeah.
So I suspect they'll have some additional guidance for you to help with that planning.
Well, and when we get to that phase of projecting out what we wanna do, we're also gonna have to, have a sit down with the town to make sure that we're coordinating, not working against each other. Cause I know the town's got their ideas and things that they're working on.
And you floated some ideas that would require new ordinances to be passed.
Yep, a lot of things need to be done around town, that's for sure.
I do know there's a future talk of some apartments going in.
If you wanted to get involved in housing, I think you need some additional ordinances passed to get that done.
Out here in that land?
No,
Oh.
behind glasses,
Ah,
there was some apartments.
so the rumor was true.
Yeah, I'm doing the topo and site plan.
So,
I heard that a while back and wasn't sure that it was or wasn't true.
It's often, I think it's just back and forth, but, I thought, that'd be a perfect project to help with infrastructure.
Cool. Okay,
Are they gonna build back behind that?
no. I think
Six apartments.
That's not very big back there, not much of a road to
Yeah.
get in there.
They'd use the road
Yeah.
for the, subdivision.
It's their
Tees
team,
and stuff.
so they're going to be instrumental.
I plow back there, so I sort of see that.
I mean, there's a lot of resources. that
Yeah.
come from
That's another good
Oh,
one you
yeah,
brought
be
up
very
there,
good.
which we don't need, we can talk about it afterwards, but some of
Yeah.
that training we were talking about and finding that, so. Any other discussion? Any other items? Okay. All right, well, if that's it, need a.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, how do we turn that camera off?
Adam?